The OGP are good at policies and procedures, and some of the procedures I'll get through that are relevant for yourselves. In SME-friendly procurement is improving all the time, and the 2016 regulations contained a number of provisions to make public sector contracts more suitable for SMEs. And the first thing there was around the financial capacity. So before they'd often ask for turnover of $1 million or $2 million because it was a round figure, and it wasn't related to project hand. But strictly speaking, now the financial capacity of the turnover threshold. So if they're looking for a turnover threshold, your financial turnover, it should only be twice the contract value. It shouldn't be any more than that. And sometimes that helps you identify how much the contract is worth. So if the turnover threshold is 200,000, it's probably a contract worth 100,000. So it give you an idea of what the value of the contract is and whether you want to make a business decision to go for that. Now, if it's a multi-year contract, the turnover might be 3 times. So it'll usually be 2 to 3 times the value. So if it's a multi-year project, or if it's a multi-year contract that's rolling over for a number of years, they might multiply it by 3 or as opposed to by 2. But effectively, it'll give you a ballpark of what the contract is worth. All communication around public procurement now has to be electronic. So everything has to be published online, and all tenders should be submitted online. And the idea is then location doesn't matter, and there's no restrictions around accessing tenders even anywhere in Ireland, but also abroad. So from Irish companies' perspective, when all tenders are online, you can submit a tender in France or Germany or Spain without having to go and print out the documents and post them over, and it just reduces that cost. And that's a thing. That's a different issue, I suppose. There is a concept called the ESPD. It's a single passport document. Now we'll get into it a bit more later, but it's a way to reuse information. It's a self-declaration form at reducing red tape for suppliers. So the ESPD is an introduction in 2016, and it's only recently been rolled out here in 2018, 2019, and we will spend a bit of time on that this morning. There is the discretion as well to divide public contracts into lots, and in fairness, the OGP are very good at this. They're very good at breaking down contracts by region, or breaking down contracts by county, or breaking down contracts by the type of work that's been done. And the idea is SMEs then can bid for a piece of the contract as opposed to the full contract. So instead of providing office stationery supplies to 32 counties or 26 counties, the office stationery is probably broken down into 4 different regions, and companies in each location, each region can service that contract, and that's the idea there. Also, I suppose the consortium bidding, and this is something to consider for yourselves. The provisions in the past were challenging for SMEs to work together, but now it does allow you to build up a consortium. It allows you to work in a group, and allows you to bid for a contract with multiple SMEs as opposed to one SME or bidding against a large company. And public bodies are more open to consortium, and there's tools and templates available that will help consortium to work together. Now, it does pose a potential risk, and you need to have a lead partner and someone that's going to know what they're doing, and then needs to be project managing everyone else. But it does allow smaller companies to come together to bid for bigger contracts, and there has been good examples of that over the last number of years. The last piece there that was improved in 2016, and which I think is important for yourselves this morning, there's an explicit provision at the moment for pre-market discussion. So in the past, public buyers were slow to engage with the market before a tender. They didn't know what they could say to people about what they were planning to buy. They didn't want to have too much dialogue with companies because it might be compliant or might be transparent. But now they're explicitly supposed to be speaking to the market more often. They're supposed to be outlining what they're going to plan to be purchasing over the next 12 months. They're enticed to talk to companies that might be potential suppliers. And the idea is there that they're getting better requirements, they have a better understanding of what the market can offer. Many times in the past, a public body would go out for a tender, and it would turn out what they're looking for wasn't available, or they're too ambitious, or the market has moved on. They might be looking for a technology which has now becoming redundant. So now they're enticed to speak with the market more often, speak with suppliers, outline what they're purchasing, and have a good dialogue with them. And that doesn't impact the tender. As long as the company is involved in writing the tender or requirements, it's vital that that dialogue is helping. It's good for public procurement, and it just needs to be done transparently. So a lot of these provisions, there's a link here in the document. If you Google Circular 10/14, you'll find out a lot more detail. It's actually a short enough document. It's only 2 or 3 pages, but there's more means and mechanisms of how public procurement has become more SME friendly. So I think that might help you.